So I listen. I listen to a lot of podcasts, right? Basically, people talking with well-known people, like celebrities or whatever, and I start thinking to myself,
I need to talk to people.
I need to talk to some local celebrities, some local people, because we have a ton of interesting people that live right here nearby us, I think. And so I thought, why not do something where we can kind of get to know people a little bit better? And so I thought, I know nothing about doing this, so I thought I'd talk to someone that I know pretty well. I don't know if I know you super well, though, if I'm being honest with you. Like, a lot of the details of your life. But I thought I'll start my first interview with someone that is a friend of mine that I am comfortable with, that I'm not gonna, I don't know, I'm still nervous, but anyways.
Good. That's a good idea.
So I'll give a quick little introduction, I guess, and I probably should have written something down, but so for our first, I don't know what you call this episode, our first podcast, this is Roy Owens, good friend of mine, been friends for, I don't know, I think since we've lived up here, which has been like 13 or 14 years now.
Yep.
He's, I don't know, let's see, married. You got 6 kids?
Yeah, 7.
7 kids. How many grandkids?
5 and 1 on the way.
5 and 1 on the way. Yep. Just an awesome dude.
Thanks.
Thanks. And I know that most people in town, because we've gone places with our wives, and this guy, you can't get 10 feet anywhere and somebody's talking to him. Somebody that he knows, which is cool.
I like it.
It's
fun.
cool.
It's fun to be part of the community.
Yeah. We end up spending a lot of time waiting on Roy.
Come on.
Because everybody knows him. Everybody loves you. But I'm hoping we can maybe talk about some things that not everybody knows. And I don't want to talk about anything like weird or controversial or anything. So if I ask you something and you're like, nope, then that's fine.
All right. Okay.
But to start,
or we'll have our editor edit it out.
Yeah, or we'll have, yeah. So I guess I could mention Josh here. My son is behind the camera, doing all the techie stuff. Him and his buddy Jarrell, because we don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about the tech part of things, so I'm grateful to have people that do know that. So the other kind of thought I had with this is, if we did have any, I don't know if any younger people will ever watch this, but maybe they will. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about like what you do for work, kind of how all that got started, and kind of your thoughts on that. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I wanted to start first with one thing I've noticed in your whole family is you guys all seem to have like nicknames.
A lot
right?
of us do. A lot of us do. Yep.
And yours is Roy Boy?
Roy Boy.
Roy Boy. So
yep.
who started the whole nickname thing? And
I don't know. I've just, that's all I've known my name to be is Roy Boy. So I grew up in Show Low, and so I know people have known me for a lot of years if I talk to them and they call me Roy Boy.
Yeah.
And so when I go back home to Show Low, I'll usually get it. Even when I went to a meeting last Sunday, went to watch my mom play violin, and a lot of the old timers, scout leaders, they immediately started calling me Roy Boy. And so some of my friends that live down here in the Taylor Snowflake area, that's what they call me, is Roy Boy. So it's something my mom and dad, mainly my dad, called me when I was little, and my grandparents, and it stuck. And to me, it's never, even when I'm 53, almost 54 years old, it still is not something that's embarrassing to me. It's it's more of a, I don't know if the word's honor. It's just, it's special when you hear that name.
Yeah.
because people know you,
Yeah.
really know you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys have kind of carried that on with your own family, right? I know
Yeah.
you got kids that you call them Bucket.
Yeah, I got one of my boys named Bucket. His name's Rusty, so we call him Rusty Bucket. I just nicknamed him Bucket.
Nice.
And then Kai Reed, we call him Coyote.
Nice.
And we got Brody, call him Bubs. Coy, I call him Coy Boy.
Do your daughters have nicknames too?
Yeah.
So they all
Yeah.
get nicknames, not
Yep,
just the
all
boys.
of them. Justy, he just called Just a Minute. This is his grandpa calls him. And then my girls are Cheerio for Cheerston, and
yeah.
Sharani's got all kinds of crazy names. Call her Rooster and Roo and a bunch of nicknames. I'll call them that before I call them their real name.
Nice.
All their nicknames. Funny.
Does your wife have a nickname?
I call her Lulu.
That's right. I knew that.
Yeah.
See, I know a lot of these.
Her name's Lamb,
Man.
but call her Lulu.
Lulu. All right. So you kind of talked already about where you grew up. You grew up in Shovo.
Yep. Grew up born in Sholo.
Born and raised in Shovo.
Yeah, so I'm one of 10 kids.
Yeah.
I'm the fifth of 10 kids, and I'm so smack in the middle. I was kind of the baby of the older kids, and then all the younger ones started coming. As the older ones left, I became the older one of the second half of the family.
So how much of a gap is in the middle there? Like,
So my oldest sister, Leanne's 60, going to be 64. And then my youngest brother's about 35. So
but between your older sister and you, there's
10 years.
There's 10. Okay.
Yep, exactly 10
So
years.
that's kind of that gap where the older kids kind of moved on, and then you were.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was growing up in your family? Like, pretty normal, or
Like how was I raised? kind
yeah,
of thing.
like your relationship with your siblings, was it
So
typical, or
being raised up in Sholo with the Owens name, the Owenses are pretty much helped settle the Sholo area. One of the original families that settled Sholo, and
yeah,
had a lot of input on irrigation and farming, a lot of the ranching. My great grandparents were ranchers and stuff, and so
yeah,
big part of the community was the Sholo. The family's always been huge in our family.
mm-hmm.
Getting together, from just being around all the older people to the young ones. It's family time's very important to us.
Yeah,
My dad grew up in Sholo. My mom's a Taylor girl, and anyway, they met. They lived in Sholo. My dad was a school teacher, and then he became an administrator, a principal at elementary school.
yeah,
So he did that for about 35 years. And I just kind of did what I have chosen to do because of the way I was raised. And kind of, yes, how it was being raised.
yeah.
A lot of love in our family.
Did you have siblings that you butted heads with?
Yeah, there's some I hated. I wouldn't even sit at the dinner table with one of my siblings that works at one of the local propane spots in Sholo.
What? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
they tease me a lot.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
So mom and dad would leave, and my two older brothers, Ken and Russ, would abuse me and drag me up and down the stairs in bedrolls, or they'd hang me from the drapes and see how long I could hang from the drapes and
What?
the tops of the doorways, and then they
By
always,
your hands? They
by my
wouldn't hang. Okay.
fingers. They'd be like 2 or 3, and they'd place bets on how long I'd last before I'd fall. So
Wow. Nice.
they said they helped make me tough in life.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's probably why you're. Hey, nice.
So I'll share a story
Okay.
that I shouldn't, because I don't want the guy to go to jail. But it's not too bad.
Oh, dang
So
it.
when I was raised up, mom, not a lot of money. That really Pampers and all that kind of stuff wasn't around. So it's cloth diapers.
Yeah.
Had to wear cloth diapers. And so the story is that my mom was wondering, I had all these little red welts all over my rear.
Oh,
And
no.
so my brother, same one that I didn't like eating at the dinner table with, they told her I got in an ant pile. But later in life,
Oh.
like within the last probably 5-10 years, they let my mom know, who's now in her 80s, that they used to use me for target practice with their BB guns.
What?
And so they thought the cloth diapers would stop the BBs. But anyway,
Oh,
That's
my.
the kind of stuff I used to deal with.
That was Ken and Russ?
That was my two bros.
Or we don't want to say.
Well, you just
Sorry.
You just ratted them out. No, but I had a great upbringing. They, mom stayed at home and raised all 10 of us. She's very intelligent. Had full ride scholarships to go to BYU in Hawaii, and then Dad decided to be a school teacher. So when they went to ASU to start his education, my mom gave up really her dreams of furthering her education to raise what turned out to be 10 kids.
Yeah.
And she's the reason I got through a lot of my schooling. I'm sure it's a lot of my siblings too. She's very smart.
Nice.
But her life became taking care of the kids and making sure we're taken care of. So very special. She still does to this day.
Nice.
She's very good.
Nice. Now, did you, because you had a couple brothers that maybe picked on you a little bit, did you in turn pick on some of your younger brothers? Or let's be honest here. Or not.
I'll be honest. If not, I'm going to be a liar on the video. I had one below me. The age gap, I was a senior, he was a freshman.
Yeah.
I was a wrestler, he's a basketball player. So as far as the choices in life, we were different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we did different things that way. So yeah, we probably, I didn't abuse him like I was abused, but I probably wasn't as nice as I could have been.
You're a little nicer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So if we you've talked about kind of what your dad did and what you got into. How early on in your life did you know that you wanted to be a teacher, that you wanted to be an educator, or was that something you remember, like deciding that this is what I want to do, or did that come later in life?
So that's a good question. So I think they kind of say an average is you change your career up to 7+ times when you start your decision making of what you want to become.
Yeah.
From the time I was young, I always wanted to be a teacher. I always wanted to be like my dad. So I didn't have, I want to be this or learn a different trade. Although I did a lot of trades while teaching, get me through college.
Yeah.
It was nothing I ever wanted to do as a full-time career. But from very young, I wanted to be a teacher. I saw the influence he had on the community, and he was at Sholo Primary and different schools in Sholo, and then of course an administrator for 17 years. So it's like, and he'd tell me stories of the impact he had on kids' lives and the way they'd come back to him and introduce their spouses or their loved ones and say, "This is the man that never gave up on me. This is a man that always believed in me and nobody else would. And he's the reason I'm where I'm at today, one of the biggest reasons." And so Dad would share stories like that with me, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be that person that hopefully can make that kind of a impact in people's lives. Yeah. And love people, and it's not something for everybody to be in education. I love people. I think I definitely get that from different family members, but I enjoy being with people. I enjoy seeing kids' lives change and happy when they may not have a situation at home where they get experience joy. Yeah. And I like to be that, maybe that little filler where they get to find, life's okay. This guy recognizes me. And sometimes that's not easy. Some people, as a principal, I've been a principal for 21 years right now. Yeah. In my career, I'm in 26 years in education. And with what I do, there's times people want me to be more harsh, maybe with some discipline that I give kids when they do. So I'm a K-3 principal. Yeah. So they want more harsh judgment on kids. But I like to know the kids. I like to know the background. Where do you come from? Right. I like giving chances when I know they've had a rough, maybe upbringing, or and it makes it easier for me to overlook some of the things they've done and maybe be a little bit more lenient, but still, I still try to be firm and teach them lessons. Yeah. But when I was a vice principal at Sholo High School for a couple of years, there's a girl I just had suspended for doing something that broke the school rules, and I'd taken my wife to Sonic in Sholo. We're sitting on one of those pull-in little things, and this girl pulled right up beside me with their friends. I just suspended her probably 4 or 5 hours earlier, and and I rolled down the window. I told her hi,
Yeah.
and she just came over and started talking to me. And I told my wife, I said, "Who is that?" I said, "She's one of our students at the high school, and I just suspended her."
Yeah.
She's like, she's talking to you, and you just suspended her from school for like 1 to 2 days. I'm like, well, I explained to her why. These are your decisions. These are choices. And there's reasons things have to be done. And I got to teach her some lessons. And out of just respectful.
Right.
I didn't go down her throat. I didn't get mad at her. It's just like, she understood I still liked her. It's just, there's some things that's just kind of been, I like that. I like being able to work with people and give them a chance.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think that's why most people I've ever talked to about you being a principal, that's one of the reasons why they love you. You know, that you take the time with the kids to understand really what's going on, not just lay out discipline, you know, and regardless of the background. So I think people appreciate that. But so how long were you a teacher, and what grades did you teach before you switched over into administration?
So I graduated from Southern Utah University in Cedar City, Utah. And
that was one of my other questions. Sorry.
So I went to school there. I actually did some of my schooling at Northland Pioneer College.
Oh.
In both Show Low campus and the one here in Snowflake and Taylor campus. So I started my generals in the Show Low area.
Okay.
And then I got accepted to Cedar City, where I had some jobs in Utah. And then I'd met my wife, all kinds of stuff. On a blind date, she took off and left for about 18 months, and I started schooling at Cedar City.
Nice.
So my dad was the principal of the school where I started my student teaching.
Okay.
And I started with a guy named Kevin Hall. He's a 5th grade teacher. He's one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And when I interviewed for a teaching job, my dad said, I don't want to be any part of that interview because I don't want people to say I've gotten Roy a job.
Right.
And so I interviewed for an opening in Linden Elementary, and a head teacher named Kathy David interviewed me with Karen DeBlasi and a couple staff, and then they hired me and recommended my name to my dad. And so my teaching career started with being a 3rd grade teacher at Linden Elementary. So I taught 3rd and 5th there 2 years. And then I didn't think I started out with a contract. It was $21,500 was my first contract as a teacher after four years of college.
Yeah.
And I was taking master's courses while I was teaching as well to increase my pay. And I had 3 kids at the time. I'm like, I'm not making it. This isn't happening. There's no way I can provide making this. And so I'd been fighting fires too during college and kind of got into the fire world. And so I got hired back on for a year fighting wildland fires with the hot shot crew called the Flamingo. So I did hot shot firefighting as well. Got to jump out of, be taking helicopters and dumped in the middle of the forest that were on fire with a bunch of prisoners that became very close friends to me. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But after a season, I'm like, I'm gone so much. I don't get to see my little family, and it's hard on my marriage and my wife have me gone. So I told Lance, I need you to get me some teaching opportunities and let me try to teach again. And so all the prisoners I fought fires with, they knew I taught, they knew I left it, and Lana got me teaching opportunities to interview for Heber, Show Low, and in Snowflake, the districts. I interviewed right on a fire line. I was in Idaho on a fire line, and they interviewed me on the phone.
Wow.
And I accepted a position at that. So I'd already been in Show Low 2 years, left a year, and then I accepted a position at Snowflake Junior High School as a 7th grade language arts teacher. And my brother Ken worked there, one of the ones who used to torture me, which I love him to death. So I also coached wrestling during all this time too, so I was invited to not only work but be the head wrestling coach at Snowflake High School.
Nice.
And so I did that, taught there for 3 years, and during that time I finished my master's degree. I got my admin certificate completed, so I put another 3 to 4 years of college in.
Wow.
And then got my admin degree, and then hired on. Show Low interviewed for an admin position. So that's 5 years of teaching.
Yeah.
Then I was hired on to be the vice principal at Shola High School.
Oh, nice.
And the principal was Farrell Adams. I was his assistant.
Yeah.
And he used to teach me chemistry. He's one of my biology chemistry teachers. And then the crazy thing is, a lot of the teachers that I had to evaluations on were teachers that taught me in high school. So I'd have to critique their teaching and give them interviews of how they teach.
Oh my goodness.
So that was a little bit awkward.
That's crazy.
But it's cool.
Wow.
From there, I was hired on at Sholo Primary. It's called Whipple Ranch now. I was there for 6 years as a principal. Again, some of the teachers that taught me in first grade, third grade,
We're still there?
were my teachers that were working for me. And I was their student as a little guy. And they'd call me Roy Boy, which
That's
was
awesome.
cool.
That's
I loved
cool.
it. And then,
Nice.
so there, I was there for 6 years. And then I've been at Highland Primary in Snowflake for the past 13 years. So 21 years as a principal up to this point.
Wow. Nice. Okay. So like five years of teaching. And then the rest of the time you've been administration.
I sat down
Nice.
with my dad one day at the head of our family garden. I says, Dad, I'm thinking of being a principal.
Yeah.
What do you think? And he just says, if you're going to do it, because he had already been an administrator and retired, he said, if you want to make that choice, you either need to say, I'm going to be a teacher for your career, or start earlier on and be an administrator earlier on in your career and make it your profession.
Yeah.
So I listened to him, and that's why I dove into it earlier, is what he had hit the advice he gave me, and I just said, this is what I want to do. You can impact a incredible group of kids in the classroom that are yours, where I felt I could do a lot more and be able to be around a lot more kids and community members and teachers if I was able to get that position as an administrator.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I jumped on and I ran with it. And my personality is definitely not one that anybody would think that would do that, because I grew up very shy.
Yeah.
There's times I still don't like being in front of people, but I enjoy being around people and teaching and leading. It's fun. I enjoy being around the whole show, the whole picture. I like seeing it all.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
So, one of my other questions, and let me preface this by, so I don't want you to say anything that is going to get you in trouble at work or something, but like, basically, do you have any regrets with the choice you made to go into teaching, to go into administration? And so I'll preface this by talking about my own profession. I do physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
If someone in school would have told me, or if I would have known on my own somehow, that the amount of time I have to spend on a computer documenting about what I did with a patient, I probably would not have become a physical therapist. Because in my mind, I thought I can be a physical therapist and all I got to do is work with people, do exercises with them, and that's it. Walk away. And that's what I had in my mind. And then whenever I got through school, and as I'm going through school, I'm starting to realize there's a lot of documentation I got to do. And so for me, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, that's maybe a regret, not really a regret, but something that
You don't enjoy.
that I wish I would have known maybe beforehand. And this is maybe for like youth or anyone that is maybe looking at to going into teaching. Not that I think teaching's awesome. I think teachers should be compensated way better than they are right now for what they do. But that's a whole nother discussion for another time. Anyways, do you have any regrets, I guess, with going into teaching?
So that's a good question too. So I stood in front of a group of people this last week. So there's 8 little Christmas programs we do at my school. We got a small stage, so we got to break every grade level up in 2 sections. So every grade level, kindergarten, first, second, and third, we have 2 programs.
Yeah.
And I have the opportunity every time, if my staff wants me to, and most of the time they want me to start the program, is I have a chance to talk to the community, and I enjoy that. I want them to know how their kids are doing, how we love their kids,
Yeah.
And I told them, as far as part of your question about regrets, I said, I just want you to know that I love your kids. I recognized when I started this profession, and I did, that's why I left it the 1 year, because it wasn't making it financially. I was brought up by a dad that raised 10 kids on an income from teaching. I understood what it was like. We're not going to have a lot.
Yeah.
We're always going to have side jobs we got to do. And he told me that. And my brother Ken, I said, you're always going to have what's called moonlighting jobs. You have your little side jobs to break in to take care of things you can't afford with your teaching salary.
Yeah.
So I told this community, it was last Thursday, I said, I have no regrets doing what I do. I'm right where I belong in life, being around these kids and being around the community and having that impact and love for my community that I'm serving.
Yeah.
I also said, if any of my kids came to me and told me, Dad, I want to be a school teacher, I'd recognize you're going to be in some financial tightness throughout their life, but I said I'd tell them that's the best career that I would ever recommend you going into, because I love it so much.
Yeah.
As far as things I don't enjoy, I'm not a techie person. I don't like it. I can do it. I hate it. If I never touched a computer, I would never lose an ounce of sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook, my secretaries laugh at me because I'll have all these requests on Facebook and friends and responses maybe to something I've said, and I could have 100 of them. I wouldn't know because I don't check it. I don't lose sleep over a sound that beeps on my phone. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm okay making comments and saying, how you doing, happy birthday, but I don't need to see what everybody says back. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of mean. And I apologize if anybody's saying stuff and I don't respond. I just put my priorities. I like being around the kids. I like being around the people. That technology part of my job, though we have to do it, and I do it for reports.
Yep.
And the emails and all that, keeping track of things to make the school go away. I'd be okay if I never had to do that.
Yeah.
But I do it because I can.
Yeah.
It's just not my top of priority list.
Yeah.
I don't regret my decisions to do what I do.
Right on.
I just have a lot of, as you know, I got a lot of side jobs.
I know, and that's one. When I was coming up with questions for
Even
you,
as
Roy,
a principal,
yeah,
I still pull side jobs, and I have for 26 years.
See, yeah, you got so much stuff going on. Like, we could probably do 40 of these, talking about all the different, like, hunting, your time firefighting, your side businesses that I don't even know if you want to talk about, because I know you don't love the one 100%.
It's all right. It just takes a lot of time.
Right. I mean, there's so much stuff that we could talk for days about all the stuff that you got going on.
But it's nice.
In your life. Yeah.
Say we did some Christmas shopping yesterday. It was nice because I know where finances are. From that side business, I put some money in my pocket from that didn't take away from the family money.
Yep.
So then when we got to the register, rather than land up paying a certain way, I'm like, here's some cash.
Nice.
And it's nice just to do that. Say, this job helps take care of extra needs that we might have, rather than put us in a worse situation.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to sit on my rear and watch TV or on videos or games or stuff when I know there's things to do.
Yeah.
And to take care of my family. And it's just me. It's just I have a hard time sitting down.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy that. It takes family time away, but it helps in another way.
Yeah. So for youngsters, I guess, that are thinking about being teachers, you basically tell them it is a great career. I mean, if you, like you're saying, I think the rewarding part of being a teacher is knowing that you're making a difference in people's lives. Maybe not everybody's, but there's going to be students that you're going to have a huge impact in their life, and they're going to, it may change the whole trajectory of their life from having you as a teacher. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's probably the biggest driver for being a teacher, correct? Because
it's not financial.
It's not.
I mean, the good. If you look down the road, to me, teaching is a lot of things, but it's also it's not like a a speed race. It's the long looking way down,
Yeah.
20, 30 years down the road.
Yeah.
Teaching does give you a good retirement. You're guaranteed that you're gonna have a state retirement. That's huge, and so there's good things.
Yeah.
A lot of people, most of my staff, I have one male staff member that one of my teachers, the rest are females, and they all do phenomenal. Most have 2 incomes.
Yeah.
You know, and if they only have one, then that's where you got to work a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll share one more quick story.
Yeah.
So every kid gets to watch the other grade levels watch their Christmas programs.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't get to be there the actual day they perform in front of the parents, so we invite the kids to watch other grades practice. And there's a little family that's having a really rough time right now. There's just a really rough deal that we're dealing with, and kind of it rips your heart out. But I remember seeing one of the little people that were watching the program, knowing what she's going through, and I just went and sat down right beside her as she's watching, and she just grabbed my arm and just sucked my arm so tight to her that you wouldn't have been able to pull your arm away from her.
Yeah.
And to have that and know that she's just sucking every bit of love out of you that she can get, and to put your arm around a little person and give her that same love back.
Yeah.
For probably 10 minutes, I just held that little girl just like she was my own, and really all those kids are like, they're ours.
Yeah.
And I love them. I try to love them just like their parents would. And she needed that. It was just, it was the best. And that's what I get to do. I get, as an elementary principal, I give, there's no way I don't give less than 50 to 100 hugs a day. There's no way I don't get that in return every day from the kids.
Yeah.
And then I get to talk to the community, and down the road with what I know and I understand in life, there's different kind of payments that are going to happen in life.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's a financial thing people can have, but there's also some other payments, and those are my payments. And I've always said, as soon as they tell me I can't hug a kid anymore or love them, then I'm done.
Yeah.
Because kids need to be loved.
Yeah.
They need to feel loved and feel special. That's where a lot of our best memories should be when we're little. So
yeah,
I like to be a part of that.
Right on. Well, I know the community is grateful to have you where you're at, and I'm gonna get all emotional. I can't do that. So, anyways, well, I've appreciated talking to you, just kind of about your work, really. And like I said, I think we could do 100 of these and talk about different, just with us, not including anybody else. But yeah, I'm grateful for you and for what you do, and for the friendship that we have. And anyways, so hopefully, if there's youth out there that are wanting to get into education, it's definitely something good to be a part of.
It's good, and there are, luckily, if finances are hard, and it's hard to say, okay, I'm going to go to a big university, our community has worked hard to make a teaching program for people that want to be teachers, Northland Pioneer College.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting a chance to have people that get to stay in our community, work, raise their families, mothers that have started schooling but now get to finish it now that their kids are in elementary school, or kids getting out of high school. They can go right into it, but right in our Northland Pioneer College, they're able to do stuff, and they can work at a full teaching degree right in our community.
Yeah.
And then they can choose different schools to go to do their practicums and their student teaching, and and it's nice if they decide to do it, because then their foot's in the door to hopefully get in one of the schools up here on the mountain, and hopefully in our community, because we still want good people to teach our kids that are from our area. Yeah, for sure. Good people from outside the area, if they want to move here and be a part of the community, we love them all. But one of the programs I don't want to butt in,
No.
It's fun. It had these. The third grade did this program, and it has the music playing, and it had kids holding up little whiteboards what they want to be when they grow up.
Yep.
You know, doctors, athletes, whatever. But there's about 5 kids that wrote, "I want to be a teacher," and it just it was sweet to know that their teachers have had such an impact on them that I want to do that too. And that's what we do. It's more than, to me, I shouldn't get in trouble by saying this because I've said it before. And
there might only be like 5 people that watch this, so I don't know.
They can
Hopefully
share it.
there's more than that. But.
So I have meetings with administrators all the time, and education in our state and other states, it becomes a numbers game.
Yeah.
You take tests, you're trying to get kids to keep learning, which is always our goal, is to make improvements. I get that, and we work hard to teach kids, but there's so much outside the classroom you have no control over.
Yeah.
You get them for a short period of time, but you do your best to teach. You have the curriculum. My thing as an administrator has never been about the numbers. It's been about, to my staff, is you love these kids. You love them, you love the community, you love their parents, you get to know them. And if you do that, things happen. In my view as a leader is, then people are there to back you, to help their kids more, because they know you're there to love their little ones.
Yeah.
If they don't have respect for you, they're not going to put time in. They're not going to do anything for you as a teacher or an educator. So it's all about loving them like you would want your own children loved.
Yep.
And I feel good things happen that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's. I know just from my wife's not a teacher, but she's a librarian, and I know just from some of the stories that she's told me that she'll read books to the kids in the library, and she can see the kids that don't get read to at home, and they're so just invested in, like it's a completely new thing to them. And you know, I can see how teachers definitely have that same impact, that same effect on kids, especially that come from maybe a rougher background, that don't have someone that, you know, cares about them or is even interested in talking to them. I don't know. There's some kids in some pretty rough situations, but
there's some kids that they've graduated, married, left the area, come back, and they'll come up to me, "Mr. Owens, do you still play football with the kids? Do you still play frisbee? Do you still play soccer? Do you still have running races?" And yeah, I do, and I love it. And or I'll play. They'll chase me around the playground where I'm about to die because I'm getting older. I had to cut out the races this last year because I was racing and I ate it so hard. I was like 53 years old, and I had grass stains all over my face, my clothes.
Yeah.
I was getting beat by a third grader, and I just gave it all I had, and I just face planted it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think my total racing days are over, but I still throw my arm out, throwing a football and stuff to the kids and kicking stuff. But then when they catch it or whatever, I give them candy. They get mints and Tootsie Rolls, and that's cool. I like it. I love it. But it's fun to have them come back and say, "Do you still do those kind of things?" And a lot of that, my dad used to do that. But I've always done it, and I love it.
Nice.
It's fun.
Nice. That's one thing that I've noticed about you is, especially with sports and stuff, you're all in, or I'm not doing it. Like I remember one time going and playing a turkey bowl game. This was probably 5 years, probably more than that.
10 plus years ago.
And I knew you had some issues going on, you know, like, and I tried to tell you before, hey, you need to take it easy. You're going to hurt yourself.
Why play if you're not going to play?
Exactly. And I'm like, I've always been kind of like the cautious one, you know, but
I'd have surgery after that.
I know
game.
I know it. There's no like in between.
Hey, if I play a kindergartner to a third grader, I'm going hardcore. I'm going for the win.
I'm going for the
it's
win.
fun. We have a good time. We laugh a lot.
Right on. Nice. Well, I think, I don't know. Is there something we didn't cover about teaching?
What do you think, guys?
I had all my questions there that I think we hit them all, but I don't know. There's something that,
I think just know your people. I don't care if it's just teaching or just in life.
yeah,
Get to know people. Recognize things that mean a lot to them. And a principal I used to be administrator with in another district. I remember going to an admin meeting and he's like, I don't want to know anything about my staff unless they're from 7:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. I don't care about anything else.
yeah,
I want to know about how you doing, how's your family, how's this
Yeah.
and that, not just during school, but after, before, and how's your kids doing?
yeah,
Because it makes it easier on me when something comes up, I know that I support them and I understand what they might be kind of going through, where it's easy to say, get out of here.
yeah,
Why are you here?
yeah,
Leave, leave early or whatever. And it's just learning people and letting them know that, I see you.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
see you and I understand, and basically I'm here for you. Whatever you might be going through, good, bad, and ugly,
yeah,
I'm here.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's what I
Right
like.
on. That's kind of, yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping through doing this with different people, just so that we as a community get to know each other even more than we do.
Mhm.
I've just felt like recently, or not over the last few years, especially with phones and everything, that I almost feel like my world, and that might be a little extreme, but I feel like my world and my relationships with people has kind of
Narrow to the size of a screen.
right. And I still talk to people. I
Yeah.
still talk to people I know, but I wouldn't say I reach out a whole lot to people I don't know. And I'm hoping to talk to more people, put more stuff out there that people can, if we're going to be on our phones, at least they can watch and recognize someone that they've seen around town and say, oh, yeah, okay. Well, now I know more about Roy Boy.
Yeah. Feel free to call me that. I've known you long enough. You can call me that, Vance. Vance Hoops.
Anyway, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a whole nother good night.
Another story. A lot of good stories. A lot
Yeah.
more to go.
Yeah. So, well, we'll I don't know. Thanks for coming and doing this, and
Yeah.
it's been fun. It's weird having a camera over there, and I don't know, but we'll figure it out. So, thanks for coming and chatting and
Yeah.
getting me through this first
Yeah.
awkward. I don't know.
Hopefully the rest
It's
go
been
better
good.
than this first
Hopefully the
interview.
rest go better than this one.
For me. The other people are going to be way better than me.
No.
You did great.
Anyways. All right. Well,
Thanks.
thanks for listening. I guess we'll leave it at that. So, thanks.